Loneliness can break you, or it can turn you into a blade. She chooses the blade, born in a land that marks her as other, eyes the color of a winter river. Whispers follow her like crows. Monster, half-breed, bad omen. She learns silence first. How to answer nothing, how to be nothing. But silence is not weakness, it is training. She hides her face, hides her name, hides her past in the hiss of a forge. Iron heats, iron yields, iron remembers. A hammer comes down, again, again, again. A rhythm older than hate. Beat by beat, she turns pain into purpose. Everyone else trades comfort for belonging. She trades comfort for focus. No sake, no laughter, no soft corner in a crowded room, just breath, just steel, just the line of a perfect cut drawn across her mind. Every insult is a coal, every door slammed a bellows. Her isolation becomes fire. They wanted her alone. Fine, alone is quiet, quiet is sharp. She watches from shadows, counts footfalls, measures distance by the weight of air, when to move, when to wait, when to let pride trip a man before she does. She keeps a list. 4 men from far oceans, foreigners with pale faces and hungry hands. They left a stain on her family. She will return it in kind. People tell her to forget, to live a small life, to be grateful to be ignored. She learns to turn hunger into patience, rage into form, grief into poise. She threads towns like beads on a cord. A tea house here, a bridge there. Always another rumor. Always another door to knock on with the flat of a blade. Her disguise is a comfort, a man's gait. A voice like frozen water, eyes lowered when needed, eyes up when the warning must land. Some smell weakness when they see quiet. They step close. They reach out. They bleed fast. But this is not gore for glory. This is craft. This is proof that mastery is mercy to the self. No wasted movement, no wasted breath. Everything earned. In the market, a blind cook hears her silence. He smiles like the sun through bamboo. He offers rice, warm words, a name she won't give. He treats her like a person, not a mask, not a myth. She pushes him away with sharp edges. He keeps coming back with open hands. He is the first crack in her armor. Kindness, a dangerous luxury. A noble girl glimpses her too. Silk and steel meet in an alley. Giggles turn to questions. The noble wants freedom. Our warrior wants nothing that can be taken. They circle each other like moth and flame. Curious, drawn, afraid of the burn. The world watches men make history. She makes it in secret. She challenges a favorite on a bridge washed in fog. He boasts, he shines. He thinks victory is how loud you can be. She lets him waste his breaths. Counts to 3. Ends it with one clean line. Crowds gasp. Rumors sprint. A ghost with blue eyes walks the city. Power loves attention. Mastery does not. She vanishes before the echoes settle. At night, she returns to the forge. The metal sings as it cools. She can hear every choice she didn't make. A home? A husband? A life where the neighbors forget your name? She quenches that dream in water black as ink. Discipline is devotion. Devotion is a promise you keep when no one else is watching. When the first of the foreigners finally sees her, he laughs. He sees a story he thinks he's read. An angry orphan, a toy with a temper. He never learned the quiet parts. He never heard the hammer. His men swarm like ants. She breathes. She becomes small. Then she becomes sudden, not flashy, not wild, just inevitable. He runs out of men before she runs out of discipline. His smile breaks. His voice shakes. The world tilts. She steps close enough for him to see his reflection in her eyes. Not a demon. Not a child. A mirror he cannot stand. He spits a name meant to hurt. It lands with no weight. She sheds names like rain. He offers gold. He offers ships. He offers a chance to be normal. Normal is a cage marketed as comfort. She does not buy it. He calls her lonely. He's right. She made it a choice. People think loneliness is empty, but emptiness holds shape. Like the inside of a flute holds music. Like the space around a blade turns motion into cut. She walks away from victories the way others leave taverns. No swagger, no story told twice. The cook finds her again. Brings soup. Brings songs from a life with softer corners. He does not ask her to stop. He only asks her to eat. She lets warmth sit in her hands for a moment. It aches more than any bruise. The noble sends a message tied with ribbon. A warning, a promise, a piece of a future that doesn't exist yet. She tucks it into her sleeve. She keeps moving. The map is a crucible. Every mile burns off something she does not need. She learns to measure time by scars, by the weight of the sword at her hip, by how often her thoughts return to the woman who raised her alone, eyes bright with fear and steel. She trains to the rhythm of her heart. Strike, recover, breathe, repeat. Focus makes the world smaller. Mastery makes it simple. Loneliness makes it quiet. In the quiet, she hears the only voice that matters. Not her enemies, not the crowd, not destiny. Her own. It tells her the same thing every sunrise. Sharpen. So she does. She sharpens until the whetstone sings, until her palms burn, until the burr is gone and the edge drinks light. Every motion measured, every sound a signal. The world narrows to steel and breath. Discipline becomes a home harsher than any winter. It keeps her warm the only way she trusts, by burning everything that isn't purpose. Hunger, a friend, pain, a tutor, noise, a thief. She cuts it out. She keeps only the rhythm. Footwork on packed dirt, steps tracing invisible circles, knees soft, hips quiet, blade low, never high, never arrogant. She lives by rules she wrote in the cold. No comfort without cost, no mercy without mask, no name spoken to strangers. In the early fog, she chases air, not blood. She listens for the quiver in her stance, the flaw in her guard. She hunts weakness like prey. She kills it. By noon, her clothes are soaked. By dusk, the edge is cleaner than thought. By night, she sews shut new holes. She eats in silence, sleeps like bait. On the road, rumors start to move ahead of her boots. A pale-eyed ghost with a farmer's gait. A swordsman who never looks at the sky. Villages draw lines of sight as she passes. Mothers turn faces away, kind and afraid. Men check the weight of their bravado. Most step aside, a few step in. They don't step again. It's not the killing that grows her. It's the not killing. The cut she holds back. The slash she stores for later. Control over chaos. Mastery over impulse. That becomes the blade's truest edge. Then a whisper slides under a tea house door. One of the men she hunts has come down from his fortress of trade. He wears silk thicker than conscience. He hides behind lacquer and laughter. He smells of foreign sugar and gunpowder. She watches flames dance on his cups and counts the guards who pretend not to see him. Cold water moves through her veins. Opportunity. Like the blade's voice, it comes with a cost. To get close, she has to become something that gets close. Not a storm. A servant. Not a cut. A smile. The mask she hates most. The mask that gets her in. She learns the steps others glide through without thinking. How to pour without rattling porcelain. How to laugh without teeth. How to see a room without moving your eyes. Her body rebels. Every bow feels like rust. Every giggle like grit in her throat. But mastery is not pride. Mastery is function. She makes her shame into a tool. She makes humiliation into a whetstone. And like all whetstones, it eats a little of her to make her better. In the back halls, steam rises. Grease hisses on a pan. A boy with clouded eyes and perfect hands flips dumplings like coins. He hears more than the rest. He hears her not moving. He points his smile toward the silence. "Hungry?" he asks the air. She says nothing. He slides a bun along the table until it taps her knuckles. She should leave it. She should starve herself of softness. But the smell is honest. She eats. He laughs, warm as a hearth. Says he knows sharp when he hears it. Says he wants to learn. Wants to stand where she stands. She calls him foolish. He calls her teacher anyway. He doesn't know the cost of edges. He doesn't know how many nights a blade keeps you company because no one else will. He doesn't know the kind of promise you make to a dying parent. He will. The night of the hunt, lantern light blurs the lines between silk and skin. Music churns the air. Shadows write different truths on the floor. Her target floats on cushions, a smug ship in a red river. She becomes furniture. She becomes scent. She becomes the thing no one remembers looking at. Only when the last laugh fades into wine does she move. A door, a corridor, 2 guards, 3 breaths. The first doesn't see the sheath flash. The second sees nothing ever again. The third feels winter whisper across his throat and mistakes it for wind. She slips through living paper. She's a polite earthquake, a quake in slippers. In the inner room, the man is gone. Only smoke. Only warm cushions and the aftertaste of money. He left a decoy, something cheap made to look expensive. The lesson is sharp. She tastes iron, not from the blade, from herself. There are forces here that fear her enough to move first. Good. Fear is a hasty craftsman. People who run leave threads. She follows ashes to a hidden stair, cold stone, a bad sign. The kind of exit men who think they're clever build because they also think the world owes them time. Below, water waits. A small boat licks the wall like a cat. She's a blink late. A rope frays in silence. The current laughs. On the dock, someone was meant to stay behind and die for a paycheck. He trembles instead. She could kill him for what he failed to do. She doesn't. He tells her what fear already hinted. The man is heading to the river festival. Crowds, noise, distraction, perfect cover. She hates crowds. They pull at her focus like weeds. They turn edges dull. She steps into them anyway. A tide of lanterns flows to the shore. Drums beat open the night. Fireworks climb, hiss, die blazing. Faces smear into human fog. She rides the sound as if it were a blade of its own, times her body to the boom, moves when eyes go up, cuts when hearts forget to guard ribs. On the barge, laughter is a wall. Her target leans on it. He thinks music can buy him grace. He thinks spectacle can blind justice. He thinks wrong. 3 motions. 2 mistakes from the men in front of him. 1 last look from a man who never looked down. She gives him a gift he never purchased. An end that fits what he sold to others. She speaks his name to herself. The river takes him. The crowd cheers for a firework that dies at the same time. No one screams for him. They don't know. They don't have to. This kill isn't a victory she can wear. It doesn't warm her bones. It doesn't stitch close the old rip where she used to be a child. It's a notch on a quiet stick. A night that will feel like any other in the morning, except for the way the blade hums different. Satisfied for a breath, then hungry again. Always hungry again. On the shore, the boy finds her. He has dumpling flour on his sleeve and ash in his hair. He says the barge was fireworks. He says he got lost and then found in the same minute. He says he wants to help her find more. She tells him to leave. She tells him the road ahead eats soft things. He smiles like stubborn light. Says light can be sharp too. She hates him for that sentence. She hates